Science and the Soul by Abbey. I sought in sleep to find the mountain lands where science in her hall of wonder dwells. When I had came to where the building stands, I found refreshing streams, delightful dells, invigorating air, and saw, on high, turret and dome against the boundless sky. Out of her busy palace then she stepped, and kindly greeted me as where I stood, doubting my right, and whither I had slept. "Welcome," she said, "and whatsoever of good you find in me, you have full leave to take, for rap and woof verses that you make." With these her words, for more than me, were meant, I felt and thanked her, as seemed fitting then, while in her looks I saw that she was sent to lighten work and knit together men, and that with patience such as hers could be, the calm mason build the isles at sea. Servant of use upon that mountain wise was the plain title she was proud to own, and, clear than her penetrating eyes, the light of progress on her forehead shone. Her smile the lips' sharp coldness half betrayed, as if the wreath upon a sword were laid. But now, about her palace everywhere she led my steps, and often by her side a lion and a nimble greyhound were. The swifter to a lash of wire she tied, and made a messenger of good and ill. The stronger, with wide breath, performed her will. She traced the lapse of awful seas of time on fossil limestone and on glinting ore, described wild wonders of the Arctic clime, and of all lands her willing slaves explore. Opening large laboratories to my view, she showed me much which she had skill to do. Then, down a marble stairway to her bower was led the gracious way. "And here," said she, "I meditate beyond the midnight hour, and wind for peace and war, for land and sea. Read the round sky's star-lettered page, grope in the abysses of the microscope." But while she spoke, there stood another near, the fairest one that ever I beheld. I fancied her the creature of some sphere, whence all of mist and shadow are dispelled. Her voice was low and gentle, and her grace vied with the beauty of her thoughtful face. Clear, unwilling light around her shone, a ray of splendor from a loving source, a light like sunshine that, when it is gone, leaves darkness, but sheds glory on its course. Yet in my dream, her footstep made me start, it was so like the beating of my heart. I turned to science, for small doubt had I that she best knew her whom I deemed so fair, and asked, "Who is she that so heedfully waits on you here in this like sunny air? In all her beauty dwells, while from her shine truth, hope, and love with effulgence divine." When science answered me, severe and cold, "She is time's brittle toy, the praise of man has dazed her wit and made her vain and bold. With subtle flattery of tongue and pen we title her the soul. I count it blame, and call her life, but seek a better name. Alone in her grey-celled abode she dwells, of fateful circumstance the fettered frail, the strike sum of forces of her cells, molecular and manifold in all. But aeons past a nature could express this carbon-rooted flow of consciousness. Life from the common mother everywhere springs into being under sun and dew, and it may be that she who is so fair from deep sea ooze to this perfection grew, evolving slowly on from type to type, until at last the earth for man was ripe. But like a low-born child whose fancy's page illuminated glows, she fondly dreams that hers is other, nobler parentage, that from a source supreme her being streams. But when I ask for proof, she cannot give one word to me of knowledge positive. Wherefore, regretfully I turn away, in no wise profited to let her muse on her delusion, nor grown old and grey. It is a vain mirage that she pursues, some image of herself against the sky, to which she yearns on golden wings to fly. What time I left that palace high and wide, she followed me, whom I had thought so fair, to guide me down the devious mountain-side, speaking with that of sorrow in air that made me grieve, and soon a tear I shed to think that here she is so limited. "Oh, I am life and more, I am the soul," she said, and in the human heart and brain sat frowned and present by the previous role, lifted with hope that I shall live again, that when I cross the flood with me shall be the swift-winged carrier dove of memory. I shall have triumph over time and space, for I am infinite and more than they. In vain has science searched my dwelling place, for, delve in nature's secrets as she may for deeper knowledge, she can never know of what I am, nor whither I should go.